Hopefully, locally, good evening, heroes and heroines, and welcome to Practising Programming in C, where we are in, I believe, if you can see that down there, mostly speech-free mode. I think we're currently in that mode. We've been in this mode before, and it didn't really turn out to be mostly speech-free, but let's give it a go. Basically, it just means that I will be supposed to be coding more than talking, essentially. So let's get our stuff open. Basically, all I want to do is it's just gonna be a really short stream, actually, probably. And do a couple of things. Add a C flag, so you can specify the location of the config. Add a 0 flag, so we can do a drum run, which will basically probably just just pass it and print the config. And then make the include identifier resolve the file path correctly. Yeah, I think I like to do these things. Now this deduplicate templates, I don't think I will do. Actually, I think I will do this, but it's not deduplicating. Actually, it's really sort of it's like initializer templates when initializing a project, rather than when you switch to a project, effectively. Pass templates, or pack actually. Pack templates during project init, rather than put it switching. Right. Yeah, I think that's it. And I don't think I will actually deduplicate. So the deduplicating basically was the idea was that I would effectively figure out what the template is. So basically go through each of the projects, see what their template paths are, and then effectively look up into a little array to see which templates we've already packed. And if we find they've already packed the template corresponding to that path, then we just use that template directly. We just do a pointer into that thing up there, rather than kind of packing a new one afresh. And I think doing them separately, I think would be a better way to do it. It'd just be I think it'd be just less maintenance, essentially. So probably almost definitely use more memory. But I mean, these packed templates are just nothing anyway. Well, I mean, I suppose it depends on how large the actual template, the incoming template file is, because you do need to have that in memory. But the actual packed data isn't much. Well, I suppose you do need to consider both things. But anyway, let's get on with it. So we're doing a C flag and a 0 flag. So here we go. We want a 0 flag and we want a C flag, and the C flag needs to take an arg. I believe that's how you do that. Yeah, we could have the .h as well. So I think the current project, I've got a feeling that we need to actually stop that from happening. I think it's going to be the main config, and that isn't going to be the play location in the slightest. It's going to be the config path. If 0 print usage. Yeah, I don't think we care about this because we don't necessarily need to have any arguments at all. You can run without a single argument. Now the default config. We don't have a default config anymore, do we? Which is kind of interesting. So how do we deal with this exactly? The config path. Yeah, I mean, I guess all you do is you add to the main config, don't you? Oh, this gets music on. Talking Heads. There's 38 minutes and 3/4. 38 and 3/4 of a minute. So yeah, right. Config.c, I was trying to look at the config structure, wasn't I? I suppose actually it's not, yeah, it's not really the config, is it? I mean, it's just like anything you like. How do you do a word expression exactly? Or word expand, rather. Just wondering what would happen, like if, because we're doing two things here in this cache directory. We're trying to do this, and then if we fail to do that, well, I mean, we still do this, but if this fails, we'll end up with this. I'm just wondering if we would have to do something similar. Because effectively I'm going to have xdg Right, but you need to actually resolve that path. Oh, I suppose actually what you could do is you just set that like this, and then for this case you just say, is that right? And these things are just sort of sitting on the stack, aren't they? Is that how you do that? I think that is how you do that. And then having done this, you do the config path is actually equal to the resolved config path. Yeah, it's not actually, it's really expand, isn't it? I think that's what it is. Yeah, let's just do this. And it's effectively the same deal as this. Except for copy, it's not going to be copy string, it's going to be like a make string. And I think the only thing you can actually do here is pass the path. Yeah. Oh yeah, we don't have the config yet, so we can't actually do that. I mean, I guess we could have like just an int mode. Right. That's going. Examine, no cache. No privacy. Yeah, we do want single tab, no reviews. What was that I just deleted? One shot. Yeah, one shot's definitely going. I think we also wanted to get rid of force integration, didn't we? Right, we just sort of said that that ain't happening. So the examine was talking about the database. We can still keep that, I reckon. Yeah, no cache isn't being used. So, get rid. No privacy. We should be using that, but we're not. So maybe we just don't need this. How do we determine whether to check the privacy? Ignore privacy. Yeah, I guess it's stored in the current project, isn't it? So that's where some of that stuff has gone. I keep forgetting them should be in speech-free mode, by the way. Oh, hang on a second. There is a current project mode, is there? Is that getting compiled in? Ah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we're just going to have to rewrite this, aren't we, really? Right, there's no mode in mode. Because, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Oh right, that's actually not right. But that won't be the problem. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, hold on a second. Let's just let this error happen. This should be reported, be being reported within Tokenize, shouldn't it? Oh, hang on a sec. What have we got? Starting program. Actually, shouldn't this be failing? No. Right, yeah. I see. So it thinks it has got a T. Okay. So it's when it's read but file to buffer. So apparently it thinks that it's managed to get that, does it? File buffer location. Even though this has failed. What is that supposed to be doing? Right, because this should be failing effectively, shouldn't it? Right, that's still null. What did I just try to print out? F-buffer location. Yeah, so that is null. Oh, sorry, right, yeah. It wasn't that. It's the tokens, isn't it? Wait a minute, where's he getting those tokens from? Hang on, let's just run it again. What is this supposed to be doing? Oh, I see. So it's just giving us a new space for the token set. I see. Yeah, so I think in this case, if that, else, I think we just need to go ahead and free that result, I think. Is that right? It's just a little bit sketchy because, so we've got that call into tokenize. We've got another call to tokenize within parse config, I think, or parse scopes. Scope tokens, yeah. So if scope tokens calls tokenize, what happens when we call that? If there's an I, then we go ahead and do this. Maybe Tokenize should be able to return, basically free the tokens, probably free all the tokens set, and return 0. Right, and then if this call fails, we do something. Probably return 0. Maybe returns free the scope tree actually. That might be what you have to do. I think it's actually, is it result? Well, actually it's just tokens, so maybe it's sufficient. Do this. Do we have that? Is that cool? Tokens set. So what is it supposed to be doing? So this can just be a, we don't need to do that separately, right? I think we figured that out. The T tokens I count equal to 0, so I think we can actually do free and reset counts on this actually. Is that true? What's the thinking behind this? I mean, yeah, I assume that would be right, because we're doing that for each person. Oh, right. So that's in config.c, but too far down. So yeah, this token set thing. The token set is coming in like this. Basically, Tokenize is just going to first of all try and open that file. And if it fails to open that file, we need to... Yeah, I mean, all we do need to do is just free that result, isn't it? Right? Just turning a pointer to that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose actually we could probably get away with just decrementing the S count and setting results to be null. Yeah, I think. And then, should we ever need to do that again, I guess current line could also set to 0. Not that it would matter. But yeah, I think that would be what you do. So yeah, if this fails, all you say is the token set count. Is that what it was? I think that's right. Yeah, now it's actually quits. Okay. Okay. So I've got a bunch of errors. This is because this is an old file. Right, we kind of spec this file out years ago before we even had an idea of the actual structure of these things. Yeah, it's using the old Nginx syntax. It was like trying to copy the it was basing the syntax on that of the Nginx config file. But we don't mind. But if we do this, what happens? Oh, interesting. So it doesn't like something. Is that because it's trying to include the wrong file? Skip asset. I mean, I guess we could do, if we've got a config, print it, and then exit. Just see what we're being presented with. Oh, 0, 0 doesn't look right. 0, 0, yeah, so these guys haven't been initialized correctly. So everybody's been set to 0, 0. Is that what you'd expect? Yeah, I guess you would actually, wouldn't you? Yeah, you would, because it hasn't gone through initdb yet. So where's the failure? I think it was in initdb itself, wasn't it? Should we take a look at the thing? So the assets block has got lost. That's unfortunate. I think we might have to just remove that file. I'm not sure exactly how to reproduce this, because I'm not sure what steps it's done. So we had a failure. Oh, actually, it's probably just because we weren't correctly exiting. Once we realised that we didn't have an actual file, once we realised that we couldn't actually parse the config file, we weren't exiting. I think that's probably all that was. We also had the dry run mode, didn't we? I guess we could also just do that. If we've got a config, then we say if the mode is not dry run. How do you do this again? And okay, so the mode and that's how you do it. Very much out of practice with doing bitwise operations. Okay, so that's dry run mode. Which we will need to clear up, by the way. This is pretty much like a debug printout sort of a version. Okay, so those seem alright. I do think, by the way, that I need to parenthesize that. if the mode and, so we've got the AND operator, the OR operator, is this the last track? Yeah. Let's take a quick look at the Bitwise Operators. I basically want to not AND, really. Don't I? Yeah, not AND. No. There's something to see, wasn't it? Bitwise Operators in C. Exclusive or be interesting if you could do this, but you can't. Okay, I mean, this is fine. This is doing what you want to do anyway, I think. Yeah. So, final thing I want to do today is to make the include identifier resolve the file paths correctly. Includes scope tokens. So this pair value is probably going to be the path. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. This is going to be any old path. Those are include rules. So basically, if I just do print pair here, yeah, I keep forgetting I can't actually build that file, which is unfortunate. Really? What's it saying? Too few. Oh, right. sleep so we can actually see it. So it's going to be including Cinera included. Now the thing is, we need to make sure that that is actually like set correctly, right? Because where we are, we're sitting in this directory here, running the program. We're saying that this is the path for the config file. This happens to reside in the directory where we're currently sitting. And I'd like to make the rule such that when you do an include, so if you go into cinera.conf, what's this right here? When you do this, it should be including this relative to this file, or rather relative to the parent directory of this file. Right. Which ain't going to be the case at the moment. So I need some information, don't I? I need to know the file path of the current directory, of the current person that I'm parsing. So yeah, this guy is being passed. Scope tokens, I think it's been called by Tokenize, isn't it? No, it's been called by parse config. So that happens. If we've got any tokens, can't see the config results. I don't think the results have been touched as of yet. The results are only going to get touched here. So remember, Tokenize is the person who gets the path originally. And for that matter, Tokenize actually needs to know the actual full path. So they're going to get passed the full path. Yeah, right, and then scope tokens is just responsible for taking those token sets and stuffing them into the scope tree. Is there only one call to scope tokens? No, I don't think. No, there's a call there, and there's the call here. So scope token is going to call itself. Scope tokens also calls Tokenize. So parse config is going to be passed a path. Tokenize gets past that path. Who exactly knows about that path, I wonder? like when we call, I guess when we call scope tokens, I suppose. Oh, I guess we could look up what the tokens contains. So it contains a file. Right. I think that's our information, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. That tokens.file is going to contain the actual thing that we need. I think parent is a scope tree. Tokens. Right, okay, so I think T count, I think T file path is going to be the person that we need, I think. So it thinks it's Cinera.conf. Yeah, right. So I guess, actually, yeah, in main, so when we do the expand path, config path, it might not matter actually, might it? Now that I think about it. Because if you're going to be passing like effectively, this is just going to be like this path here is effectively going to be essentially this, right? Right, that and that are the same thing. Well, I suppose, yeah, it's not actually going to be completely sufficient, is it? Because say, like, if you put in your config, if, for example, you put this, then you've got nowhere to go if you don't actually retain the full thing. So I reckon we do want to make that path be the full thing. So the config path would start out like this. If you've got the C, you set it to do this. And then I reckon, yeah, I reckon expand path actually needs to do some more stuff. So when we come in, if the first character of it is not a /, then it should be treated as a relative path, in which case we should prepend it with the present working directory. Right. So we're going to have an incoming path. I think let's give ourselves a temporary string to work in. Right. And then effectively what we're going to say is, if the first character of the path is equal to a thing, then we just say the working path, we're going to actually make the string. Oh, right, yes, this also needs to expand, which is perfectly fine. Okay. I think having expanded this, we can just safely free it and then make a string of our new dude. I think that's right. Is that the right thing, by the way? Yeah. It's now got the whole thing. Now that I think about it, expand path might as well be the entire thing, mightn't it? That might as well be our function. So I'll tell you what, let's change this to be a string. Should it be pointed to a string or not? I'm not sure. Oh, actually, I think I want another bit of information. Expand path. Right, we're expanding this relative to the present working directory. But I think we need to say where we're doing it relative to. Right. Relative to file. Right, and then if it's relative to valid, then what we need to do is we need to figure out. We just need to strip the last thing off. Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, hold on a minute, we've got config. Yeah, strangely enough, I think we're safe to do this. I think we've got a strip file component function, haven't we? Yeah, strip component from path. Beware that this may leak. Oh yeah, we've got the resolving, haven't we? But if we're using word wrap, word exp anyway, then that will resolve these guys, won't it? Won't it? Or will it? No, it won't. Will it? Yeah, no, it won't. So I think I need to actually I need a better way of doing this as well, actually. This path is now on the heap, as if it wasn't before. Just give us a couple of minutes. I will be right back. that resolve string function might maybe fine actually, or resolve path, whatever it was, because it would have to produce a new chunk of. It'd have to produce a new string. So I think what you just do is, whenever you do a resolve path, the call is responsible for handling the outer thing. I think that would be what it would be. So yeah, I guess in expanding the path, what you would do is, after having, so where's the result? The result is here. I mean, it's kind of like the staging result. Right. I suppose you can also think of it as the working path, actually, couldn't you? Although that needs to be different from this. So yeah, I guess actually, kind of this, or expanded path. And then we actually need to do the result is actually the resolved path. Right, does that make sense? Because basically, expanding the path using word expr, it retains this sort of information, right? But we really want it to be resolving these things out of the thing, right? So basically, what this is supposed to mean is, if you see these things here, it's essentially saying remove this from the path, right? So for each one of these that you see, you have to remove itself and remove this, so it'll leave you with this, this whole thing. That's effectively what you're trying to do. Yeah, and then this makes the expanded path. I don't think I can actually return the result actually straight away. I need to actually free that expanded path. That's what you actually want. It's a bit sketchy because it's kind of doing all this stuff. You know, it's freeing quite a lot of things. You know, you got a working path. And then you've got the expanded path. Now, what was that strip component thing? Oh, right, yeah. So you just simply well, we need to pass the second thing, don't we? So it's actually relative to file, yeah. I don't want to be modifying that string. Well, I mean, now say what you could actually say if you're going to be talking about an actual string. Where's this being used? Okay, so it's being used in two places. Let's just rename this to be that, and let's do a bit more of a real strip component. And also it should be returning a string. Yeah, I mean, you're just reducing the length, aren't you? Well, it's not equal to a thing. Keep decrementing the length while it's not equal to a forward slash. So once it is a forward slash, you go. So yeah, I think that's just it. How exactly have I done this? Okay. So here we go. We've got a string coming in. We want to be talking about the parent directory. I mean, what is this? What do we say this was taking? Just a regular old string. I mean, there's no harm in it taking a pointer to a string, actually. Right. So then we've got the parent directory. It's effectively this, except rather than using the pwd, you use the parent directory. Oh, and then we also need to do the actual forward slash, don't we? I think that'll be right. Now, this strict component format doesn't allocate anything for that. If we go relative file, then we get that. I mean, I guess it's relative dirt, isn't it? It's more of that. So what do we get now? We get this. Coverage above no format. Just trying to do Cinera.conf on line 1997. Resolve path. So we call resolve path here. can accommodate a 74 character string. We didn't change how our path works, did we? It's supposed to be claiming a buffer. I assume it's actually in this function that we're failing, by the way. So we're being sorted out from there. Relative to file. Okay, so it's not that. So we're making a string for working path. So it does that. The word expression, expansion. So yeah, I think this is supposed to be stuffing the result of whatever this is doing into here, right? And then it was in the resolved path that was failing, wasn't it? So that reckons we've got all this lot. It's possible it's not even this call, it's actually... Okay, so it is. So it's been passed a path. Ah, it's been passed a path of nothing. Expanded path. Oh, right, because I freed it. Right. Sorry, I haven't freed it at all. It's this thing here. So this just did make a string. So just run it again. Expanded path. So if we print the expanded path, that is something. Right? That's that. And then if we step into here, it now reckons the path isn't... There is no path. So what exactly does that think it's trying to do? It's supposed to be taking the path character. Surely it's nothing to do with this word for expansions, is it? Because make string should be actually producing an entirely new thing. I mean, basically, if I just continue to run, oh. So now it knows that that was something. I'm not exactly sure how to interpret this then. You stuff into that and it reckons it's a null. And it was this that fails, wasn't it? Yeah. So I'm missing something here, aren't I? Let's try and run it again. Right, at this point, expanded path is null, is not set. But then that happens. So that gets set to this. And like I say, this word tree on the expansions has got nothing to do with this. Right, expanded path is still something. We step in and that thinks it's been passed as nothing. I just don't understand. I don't understand why that doesn't think it's located here. Until you go a bit further. Right. Like, is that just how these guys work and I just haven't spotted that before? What is P? I guess we could look into claim buffer. I mean, that's doing nothing for some reason. I'm not shadowing anything, am I? Expansions. Expanded path. I mean, if I just do a function here, car star, oh god, what? I mean, surely that just wasn't building. But if I do that, right? Let's quit and reload it. And step into this, right? This straight away. Yeah, but I suppose it's managed to jump down to there. What happens if I try and get to resolve path now? Or I guess let's just go through this guy. Yeah, again, it's just found. I mean, it's on the first brace. Is that what it's? Is that all it is? But I'm really getting into the weeds here, aren't we? Have I just... What is resolve? I mean, there's a comment at the top. So relative to file is null. The path was apparently something. Right, expanded path is that. Yeah, I'm just totally bamboozled here. Like, what is this going to get for? Probably, it's probably going to call string length, isn't it, actually? So what's that received? That's received the entire thing, at least. So that's found it. So it thinks it's 100 characters long. Okay. So that's been passed, the size of a 101. Buffer. Oh, we haven't set the arena up. That'll be it. But yeah, that's probably it, wasn't it? Yeah. So what happened there? It then continued. Claim buffer. Oh, I see. So I suppose that's unfortunate. I suppose it's just up to me, isn't it? Just to make sure that you're just doing it like a memory arena. I still do not understand though. Well, maybe, well, what I don't understand is why, when we step into this function, it steps us to here, and it kind of was saying that it was receiving the path as 0, like it hadn't resolved this argument until later. I mean, that wasn't our problem. The problem was right in the arena. But yeah, now that we've done that, I think we should be in a bit of a better situation. Shouldn't we? Double free. Okay. An expand path. Just clear this garbage out. So expand path. I turn a double free on something. So 10757. I turn to a double free on expanded path. Right, I see. So does resolve path? It does. Wait a minute. What is this thinking it's supposed to be doing? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it frees path, then it extends that string. And then it declares a buffer. And then it returns that path. So this path is now on the heap. Yeah, I think this does need to be changed, doesn't it? because it's just bollocking around with the incoming path. Right, I think it's assuming that it's coming in not on the heap. And then putting it on the heap and returning it. Returning a pointer to it on the heap. I think that's what it's doing. See who's calling it. What's it? File paths. So yeah, it's effectively like I'm trying to do an in place. Resolve, isn't it? Right, so I think effectively it always itself just frees it. Well, hang on, is it freeing the incoming thing? Yeah, I think it is freeing the incoming thing. So I actually take that back. It's not that it's now on the heap, it's actually that it just frees the incoming thing. So it actually needs to be what is extend string doing? Oh yeah, that's something to do with the right, yeah, adding stuff to a string. So it frees that. And then it does that stuff, declares that buffer. Okay, so it's a bit cheesy, but I think the expanded path is actually the result. I think that would be what you actually do. And then you don't need to free that into, like, you don't need to free that guy. Is that right? So it's really weird. It's like whenever you call resolve path, you're always calling it on the thing that you want to be returning it as, right? Which kind of suggests that you just want to be able to pass it like that. And extend string 0 is supposed to be expecting a pointer to a pointer, isn't it? So it's kind of like you just want to be able to do that, isn't it? Because everybody is just calling it the same way. Right? pointer to a pointer. Oh, hold on a second. You want to be able to pass the address of the address. What will the other guys be talking about? So this will be talking about passing this like this, right? So you want to be able to modify this. So, like same there. And then this should be the same thing, shouldn't it? Because that was just way too confusing. Like, I think this path is now on the heap wasn't helpful for a start. Because it kind of implied that it wasn't on the heap originally. I think that's just how it used to work. Yeah, but now that we've done that, expand string, expand, is it string or path? Expand path. If I'm not mistaken, we want to just stuff that above the config so it can actually be used. Put it above the database. Hopefully the string stuff is going to be above here too. If not, we just rejig. Yeah, it will be because you can access the string there. Let's put it with the. Well, I don't know where to put it. It really doesn't matter, but let's put it around about here. You've got the extend string, expand path. Well, is that going to be alright? No. So we need it below make string. Which is in config.c. Of course it is. I think that should be alright. Maybe. Maybe not. Strip component from path. Right. So let's go and pull that. Let's take into the string. Hold on a second, what was that? There, just put it in. Put it above rather. Or put it below. It was below the make string 0. Yeah, it's kind of awkward that make string 0 is part of config.c. That doesn't need to be the case at all. Let's bring that out, I think. Right, I think that should be bring outable, shouldn't it? Yeah, and digits in uins. Like, what's that got to do with config.c? Is this even being used? Okay, yeah, it is. Oh, it's being used by the make strings. I think. Right, and then we just need to get that. Move it down a bit. So let me actually just stuff that up with the array count is what the function is called. What's this? Seek buffer for string. I mean, I guess resolve path. Does this need to be calling the make string? Is it calling extend string? Blimey. It's a real juggle fest here, isn't it? Claim buffer. What is this below? Below log error. So let's just take these buffer people up there. Wait a minute. Oh right, now we need the globals above that. Yeah, some of these are probably going to be only initialized down there, aren't they? So the whole point of this was just to make the resolve path have the available functions, wasn't it? Implicit declaration of function log usage is down there as well, you can see. Is that in claim memory or something? Let's just back this stuff out. I'm sure there's a less cumbersome way of doing this. I think that's what you want down there, and up here you want So I've got 2 expand paths. So there's no implicit declaration of resolved path. So this needs to be available to, yeah, right. So resolve path needs to be available to an expand path. And strip component from path needs to be available to expand path. Is that this? Yeah. So basically, all we're saying is that these 2 functions need to come above expand path. Is that it? Now the trouble is, do we even have that at this point? Right, it's saying that expand path simply wants to have those guys available. Then what? Right, then claim buffer. Copy sheet above no format. And then we've got an implicit declaration of function seek buffer string down there. Jesus Christ. So that's building, but have I actually got all the functions that I need? What did I do there? Resolve path. Have I lost the resolve path function? This is so not fun. Resolve path. There's resolve path. So yeah, I've somehow lost resolve path. Oh no. I think that's what I want. Because basically this is done that, and then this has removed that comment. So I think that's the state that I want that guy to be in. Now what's happening? Now I've got no idea where config.c is up to now. Can I tell the difference? Yeah, again, I'm not sure exactly what the undo tree is operating on, whether it's operating on the whole lot or just the one file. Where are we? Expand path. Is anybody calling this yet? Nobody's calling expand path yet, so just... Well, hold on a second, shouldn't somebody calling it? And this is in two places. Right. So this config.c ain't right. Basically, I just put it in there. Didn't I? I think I just put it in the config.c so that I could actually call it in the blooming place I need to call it. Let me just run it now. Just make sure that it's still actually doing something resembling what I want, which I think it is. I think this is what I wanted to be producing. Right, but now, what I want to be able to do in scope tokens, right, I want to be able to call that the expand path somewhere like here. Probably right down here actually. Right, so past that thing. To the tokenizer, I guess. So I just want to make it available to that function. So what were our problem functions? The problem functions were resolve path, strip component from path. I mean, they're not a problem here, right? But they become a problem when we move expand path. So we need to get resolve path. This is on line 1990. Yeah, I mean, expand path, right, is way down at line 10,700 thingy, which sort of suggests, doesn't it, that we need to be at least doing this, so we can move those guys up. Now, having done that, I think one of the problems was the claiming of the buffer, wasn't it? The claiming of the buffer and copy string to buffer no format, I think those guys were then becoming a problem. Nineteen 1964. Here's all the copy string functions. That was the claiming of the buffers, wasn't it? there's the config global, and there's config.c getting included. And it's config.c, which needs to have expand thingamajig available. I mean, would that just do it? Right, so scope tokens include, so it's in here that the T file path is available to us. Tokenize wants to be taking a string, which sort of suggests that expand path wants to be returning a string. Well, we can wrap them up anyway, so there's no problem there, I don't think. Okay, so it's just taken two strings and it's returning a car. Okay, so I think it's just dealing with all the stuff itself. And the two strings it wants to take are the pair value and the yeah, it's kind of like it's the T file path, but we need to make that an actual right, it's effectively that, isn't it? And then having done this, you want to pass to the tokenizer, rather than the pair value, you want to pass the rep 0 of the include path. Right, I think that's what you want to do. And then having done all of that, I think you need to free that include path. I mean, it's pretty ugly, but and you can't build that file. If I'm not mistaken, that's what you wanted to be doing. So yeah. I mean, it hasn't failed particularly. Printed that, tokenize. So what is it printing? The included path, expand path. Yeah, I guess. between the include path. What's that print pair exactly? Yeah, I guess it's like, does this do a new line? Yeah, it does. So yeah, we're stripping the components of the path. Would this be right? It's determined that this is supposed to be relative, right? Because the first thing is not a forward slash. It's relative to file. It's relative to Cinera / Cinera.conf. And it's stripped off the file. Maybe that's sufficient. I'm just thinking of the semantics here. Like if you strip the file off, you're left with this. Like, what I'm basically saying is, like, should, after having gone through this procedure, if the result.length is greater than 0 at this point, decrement it again to strip off that actual slash. Because what is it going to do? Well, it's not a forward slash. Then you just sit there. So the length is that. Oh, it's because it's the length minus 1, isn't it? I see, yeah. I think my intention here was that I was going to be effectively the end point was the forward slash, meaning that the actual string would be the thing preceding the forward slash. I think that was my intention. Now, would that be right, actually? Like if you've got, right, if you want to strip mat off there, you want to be left with this. Yeah, and then I suppose if the length of this is greater than 1, actually, because if the length of it is 1, you're sitting there and you don't really want to be producing path of 0 length. So I think this is what I actually want. Right. So then it just removes that secondary thing. I think that's what I want. So let's just see. So it turns that into this. Yeah, I think that's fine. Right, config.c. So the include a file path is that, so we simply wrap that up so we can pass it by address to the expand path function. The expand path function itself allocates the thing that it returns. Tokenize is taking that as a string. I mean, it's working. Yeah, let's just say that that's okay. So let's just run it one last time. Did we not say not to? Did I not save the config.c file? So we now do all this stuff. I suppose one thing we could check just quickly. If we go to there, and then we say that this is, so we're getting permissions denied, are we, on Cinera? So that shouldn't actually be happening. Oh, yeah, because there is no Cinera. So yeah, that seems to have worked okay. Is there a directory within here? There is. Yeah, if we go, and that seems to have worked okay as well. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, we've nailed it. I mean, ordinarily you just basically run the program like this, right? Yeah, I'm handling this fine now as well. So basically, it come with a default config location of this well, hang on a second. What is actually this saying? It's saying the whole lot. Ah, that's not right. Is it? Is it? Yeah, that's not right. Now, why is that not right? Exactly. The config path is supposed to be... Oh, right. It needs to expand it before actually... It's got to do the word expand before determining what this is. So let's just do this and then call it a day. Yeah, I think that would be sufficient. If you just do the expansion first. So you've got your incoming path. Let's make a string out of that path. Right. So you don't do this test, you just do this. So you do that, and then you word expand. I might as well just throw that into there actually. You word expand that thing, and then having expanded that, you say, is this a forward slash? Then you're talking with an absolute path. Yeah, I suppose actually, having done that, you only need to do something if it's not that, right? If the working path of that is not this, then you need to prepend the working path with the relative to thing. Right? What is it saying actually? Free working path. If it expansions, then the result is an extra make string of that. Sorry, yeah, we need to be talking about the expansions at this point, don't we? If the expansions, yeah, it's actually this, isn't it? If this, then we want to say next. I mean, do we need to make that string? I know. I think. So what I think this should mean is we're taking that first expansion and taking the first character of that expansion. We're saying if it's not a /, then we need to prepend. We basically need to say the result is equal to a make string 0. If it's not that, then we need to actually do the test, don't we? Relative to file. So what was it? It was the the relative to file, and then a /, and then the actual expansion, isn't it? Strangely enough. So it's going to be the relative to file. Well, actually, the relative to file itself is already a thing. Oh shit. Then we need to expand the present working directory, don't we? Well, let's just do a get end of that. Might be the easy way of doing it. Otherwise, if it isn't, then we just say the result is straight up the actual expansion. I think that's what you want. I think this stuff goes away, doesn't it? Because we've done this test now. And then having done all of this, you actually resolve that final thing. There's no working path anymore, is there? Well, there kind of is. So the working path can... I see, so that was just part of both cases. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to have happen. So I think that's correct. Oops. Oh, is there anything? I don't think there's anything I can actually compress here, is there? Because I don't really have a prepend function. If I had a prepend function, what you'd do is you just start off with a string that is the expressions this person here, and then you could just sort of say actually, let me just double check. What are they saying the present working directory is? Does that end with a /? No, it doesn't. So this is correct to have this there. Yeah, if you had a prepend, you would always just make your string with this. If this is not a if the first character is not a forward slash, then you prepend it with a forward slash. If it's relative to a file, you prepend it then with relative to file. Otherwise, you prepend it with the get env of this. Have I called this? Cinera thingy. I think I'd like to, yeah, I'd like to just call this. So I think this should get us into this case here. Just want to double check that I'm producing the right thing for that. I suppose actually. Let's so this is not equal to that. So how exactly did that expand? I don't think it's used my arguments, has it? Yeah, it hasn't used my arguments. How do you do that again? Yeah, perfect. So that's got to where I was expecting it to get me to. So it's now saying this lot, and there's no actual things to resolve there. So this should be the same. Yeah. And that looks all right, doesn't it? You got Cinera and then /.conf. Yeah, and then resolve path. It's not a forward slash. Tell you what might not be right actually. If it's not equal to a forward slash, yeah, it's not equal to forward slash. So we do need to get into here. So it's going to give us the present working directory. Actually, it might be alright. Basically. So yeah, is it actually doing the whole thing? Is resolve path doing the right thing? Is the question. No, it's not. No, it actually needs to Oh, hold on a second. What did I pass? Sorry, I passed garbage, didn't I? So yeah, yeah, passed too much stuff. This is what I want to be talking about. Right, because I'm currently in the directory Cinera /examples. I want to be calling the guy the directory above me, using the config in the directory above me. So yeah, I think I just called it using the wrong things. So yeah, it should just strip off the preceding thing. Yeah, and that's correct. Skipping bitwise. No default medium setting config or mediums. Skipping that. No default. So it's still not right. Is it? Because the guy in scope tokens hasn't picked up the right path. Basically, if I go down to main, do this thing. Oh, it happens right there. Yeah, so if I just run this thing here. That's my config path. Passing that config path through to here. This Tokenize is taking that path. I feel like this is not right. Yeah, it's not. So Cinera.conf should not be part of it. So yeah, expand path. So they include a file path. If we've got an includer file, it's this thing here ain't right. Oh, forgot to strip the path. Strip the component. Yeah, no, that's correct. Okay, I think we're in business now. I assume it was this sleep that was just taking it so long. Just get straight on with it. Alright, so I think that's it. Call it a day. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the morning. Still sleeping there, which we need to remove. Expand path. Let's just delete that if zeroed stuff. And also, I think we could just do this, can't we? Straight after expanding without working path, we can get rid. We can only do the word free after handling everyone, and then finally we resolve that path and return it. I guess we could initialize that result line here. Now, am I doing anything superfluously? In some ways I sort of am, aren't I? Well, not really. Because I need to pass the working path as a null terminated thing to word expr, and then I can free it. And then we go through this situation, free that, resolve it, and then return. Yeah, okay. I think that's fine. Just run it once more, just for luck. But the clear data resolve the file name correctly. Tree path beginning with that as absolute tree, other paths relative to the parent directory of its includer. And yeah, we haven't really tested well, what haven't we tested? I suppose what we haven't tested is stuff like saying this. We haven't really tested that, have we? So I guess let's put a to do. Oh, well, let's just do it. Let's just test it. So if we've got that there, and we just say that the Cinera underscore included file is the directory below, what happens? Well, seemed to work. Now, yeah. I mean, I guess that's all you need to know, isn't it? And then it should expand people. We have an absolute paths. If you set an absolute path, it should just work. Yeah, and it seems to be exactly the same. If, however, you just move that back, don't change the config, yeah, you get errors. There was something interesting going on there with the assets, wasn't there? I assume that's the right number of assets, by the way. But there was like the watch handles. There was this situation. I guess that's because it couldn't find the owner. It just couldn't find Mio because he, just wasn't in the thing. So I guess it's a correctly resolved thing. But there'll probably be a warning somewhere above saying that we can't find the actual dude. Guess we'll test that. Yeah. Owner said, but the person does not exist. Miyotatsu. That's the warning that I was thinking of. And then these onset default mediums because it hasn't found that file. Hasn't found that file. Perfect. So yeah, I'm fairly satisfied that that's alright. So let's call it a day. Done 2 hours 41. And it wasn't really a speech-free stream, really. Anyway, thank you very much, Heroes and Heroines, for being there, for being beautiful and fantastic, and for being, I guess, resolved, I suppose. Thank you for your resolve. Until next time, farewell for now.